me, that was probably my most darkest moment of my life. But I was a senior in high school, and COVID kind of ruined everything. There's this Bible next to my bed where my mom bought it for me for like a couple years ago. Had my name and everything. I never really opened it. Keep in mind, like, I was just depressed. Crying almost every day about everything, and I just felt hopeless. And then I opened up that Bible. The first verse, I kid you not, the first verse that I opened up to, that moment, I felt as if God was speaking to me for the first time. I feel like I heard God's voice for the first time ever.
Yo, what up? My name is Chris.
My name's Allan.
And this is the Still to Be Determined podcast name. And you might be watching for the first time thinking, man, what is going on? Why does he look like that? Why does the other guy look so shiny? This is why. This is, hopefully, will be your new favorite podcast, right? So, this podcast, for those of you guys that don't know or is watching this looking back, came as an idea just to illuminate folks on some Southeast Asian folks that love the Lord, but want to kind of give more visibility to who we are, because even in Asian spaces, we seem to be very underrepresented. Would that be correct, Allan?
Yeah, I think especially in today, especially in America, I think when you said how Asians can be very unrepresented, I think especially how the world is today, I think it's definitely true. Yeah. And the world's crazy today. It's very crazy today.
Yeah, we're definitely living in the weirdest timeline, for sure. But we're not going to talk too much about that because I feel like that would lead into politics, and that's not really what we're trying to do. Also, that's just, yeah, there's no winning in that conversation. We don't want have folks watching to hate us, have folks love us. We want everyone to love us, or at the very least, to not hate us. So, just a little bit about myself. Some of you guys may know me as Chris Phiouthong, and some of you guys may know me as your favorite Asian, Crispy, aka Khan. Once upon a time. If you know me off the latter name, I'm surprised you stuck around this long. If you know me off the first name, you might know me from my testimony. I am a Asian American acid attack survivor, clearly, and I have been 21 for over a decade now, and I love the Lord and try my best to do better with stuff like this. My partner here. Introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, so my full name is Allan Shalonko. Well, born and raised in, are we saying the location, like where we're born at and stuff?
If you don't mind stalkers, yeah.
I'll just say Tennessee. I'm gonna say Tennessee. In Tennessee, I've been knowing Chris. My whole life. We went to the same church. Chris was like my youth pastor, and I was joined that like older brother, mentor. Even though you would throw shoes at me all the time. There's one time, Chris.
That sounds so bad.
I'll tell a little story. It wasn't abusive. Let's just say it was out of love. There's one time, Chris used to teach dance. We had a really big young dance group, and like every time we mess up a move, I'll see this throw the shoe. But yeah, I've been knowing Chris and Neville in the back and in the camera for a while. We grew up in the same church, and I'm just grateful that a lot has happened. A lot has happened in personal lives and just overall together. But I'm just grateful that we're still able to be friends and just still have that love for each other, because it's been a while since we didn't like catch up and talk like this.
Oh yeah.
So
hopefully. Goal would be nice, or at least a goal would be to possibly get a few more folks back in. And a decent chunk of y'all might be coming in from my page, or might be following me because of my story, which, thank you, keep sharing. And hopefully it can kind of illuminate, because I have gotten the pleasure of teaching a wide array of folks, not just Asian kids, but just personality types and whatnot. And it would be nice to have them come in from time to time and just share their stories and connect and whatnot. I do have to kind of say something. I feel like pastor is way too formal of a title for me, youth pastor. I feel like I was whatever the middle ground is of youth pastor and Sunday school teacher,
Right.
plus a bunch of other jobs I feel like most people should be getting paid to do, which I didn't get paid most of the time. But, for me, just give my story a little bit for those of you guys that may not be familiar with me. You know, I taught folks like Allan here, my brother behind the camera, and other folks in a Salvation Army church in South Nashville years ago. And then in 2018, I was on the receiving end of an acid attack by some perverts who couldn't wait until I put on some pants before attacking me. So to you guys, if you're watching this, gross. And then, through 6 years of just great support from folks like Allan and my brother and family, friends, and supporters, well, not just here locally, but around the country and countries around the world, was able to come back and just trying to create and put stuff out into the world because I am very blessed with a harsh testimony that's very unique, especially to people that come from our background. So looking forward to sharing that a little bit more and cracking terrible jokes and whatnot. What about you, Allan? How did you come to get more acquainted with everyone's favorite Mexican person, Jesus?
Yeah. So a little bit of my testimony. I grew up going to church every Sunday, even though I was asleep during the message. Then, but I grew up going to the church. But the thing is, like, I never really took God serious. You know what I mean? Like, my parents just told me to go to church. Like, hey, we gotta go to church. Wake up. I'm like, okay, go to church, and then see my friends, see you, see Neville, see other people. And that was that. And as I grew older, and when I started having more of a, I guess more of a better mindset in life. You know what I mean? Especially in high school. That's when I was exposed to uh, not a lot of things, but definitely things that teenagers can be exposed to, if you know what I mean.
Gross.
But it was during that time in high school where I was in a little bit my testimony where how I grew into Jesus. There was a time, COVID, probably everybody struggled through COVID. Probably one of the worst times in America or recent. For me, that was probably my most darkest moment of my life. One of my darkest moments of my life, because during that time, you may laugh at this, but no one knows this, but first, I I was trying to get over my ex. I was heartbroken. COVID, I was a senior in high school, and COVID kind of ruined everything.
Yeah,
And
that's
not only
that's terrible.
I know, not only that, I had shoulder surgery.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was on my right shoulder. It was I used to wrestle in high school. You remember that? And
Yeah.
I wrestled, and it was literally my first senior match, and my first match in wrestling my senior year. That's when I broke my shoulder. So I had to get surgery, and I mean, COVID, like everybody was home, staying home in their room, and I was depressed. I had a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of things that I was struggling with until I think it was in April. I had this. There's this Bible next to my bed where my mom bought it for me for like a couple years ago. Had my name and everything. But I never really opened it, and I opened it right, and keep in mind, like I was just depressed. Crying almost every day about everything, and I just felt hopeless. And then I opened up that Bible. The first verse, I kid you not, the first verse that I opened up to was Isaiah 41:10. It's my favorite Bobba verse. And it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will support you in my righteous right hand." that moment, I felt as if God was speaking to me for the first time. I feel like I heard God's voice for the first time ever through His Word. And ever since then, like, I started to dive deeper what it means to really follow Jesus and what it means to have a relationship with Jesus. I think a lot of folks see Christianity as religion, where it's more so having a relationship with God. The more I dive deeper in truly finding God, that's when I surrendered and gave my life to Jesus. And ever since then, let's just say things have been getting better. It's still rocky. The Christian life is a rocky road, but it's always worth it for Jesus. So that's a little bit my testimony how it started. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. Because I feel like I wish more people understood, especially when they're new to the faith for the first time, that like life doesn't just instantly become better. If anything, it can get harder because you know the enemy sees that you're not anywhere close to Jesus. It's like he doesn't see you as a threat.
Right.
But then you accept Jesus, and it's like, okay, now you're on his radar. It's like, okay, I gotta watch out because this person, this new believer, or this person is curious about Jesus, who truly builds that conviction, then they could spread that hope to other people. So I wish more people understood that it's especially the ones that are new to the faith that it gets harder, but there's joy in that. It's not supposed to be the easy stuff comes after this life. It doesn't come during this life more often than not. But it's one of those things where it's like you're building up your almost your emotional and spiritual calluses, which I'm sure you got physical calluses wrestling. Or it's like you learn how to roll and being thrown down or whatnot. Like first time hurts probably the most, but then once your body gets used to it, same thing with your spirit, your faith. Once you go through trials, it's like then it's like it's toughing you up in a way, preparing you for the next time, or when you see that with someone else. But man, I can't imagine. I didn't realize that you graduated during COVID.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, because I always forget how old you guys are, you and everyone else, because I am terrible with numbers, because I like to break stereotypes and whatnot. But man, I can't imagine how especially if you're a younger kid that experienced it, how much that must have like socially stunted you.
Oh yeah.
Have you come across that?
Yeah,
like
I think
underclassmen?
It's a good point that you talk about like socially because before COVID, like one thing that I noticed like before COVID, like everybody was mostly outgoing, and it's like the effect of COVID, and just after that, it's even like every person I walk by, they kind of just like go to the other side, don't really make eye contact, don't even try to acknowledge you. Even I do that sometimes. I'll be real, and I like I said, you talk about the social aspect, especially as young kids. Kids these days, the iPad kids.
Oh god.
You know what I mean? The iPad kids, but it's true, and then I think in a way, it is definitely and has been a big effect on society in terms of like what you said, communication.
Yeah.
How people, not only how they talk, but what they talk, and like how they pronounce things, et cetera, et cetera. And not only that, just like the interactions. Like, I know a few folks that I heard that are still trying to recover from COVID, and it's hard for them to even talk to people these days.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And I used to, and you could kind of see it as like social media and stuff kind of ramped up, TikToks, YouTube, good. All this stuff. Like I can't imagine. I saw something on the Coco Melon and how it is terrible for toddlers because apparently because. And not to go too deep, because like the colors and the cuts and stuff is optimized. It's kind of like how Mr. Beast does his videos, where it's meant to try to keep you engaged for short attention spans. But like little kids, it's like it's training them in like really bad habits.
Right.
But you kind of saw, with more kids being, on iPads and stuff, like, oh, this is gonna be a problem in a few years. And then COVID happened, and it's just like, wow, this really like sped it up.
Right.
So I used to think it was just like lazy parents, and there's probably some of it is due to lazy parenting. But man, I was talking to my friend about this the other day. Like, it does not seem like it's fun to be a kid now. Man. Like, and just this is to age myself a lot. I still remember when like Cartoon Network had like a website, Nickelodeon had a website where you could play like Flash games and whatnot. And you had stuff like Club Penguin and all these other
great game.
Like Maple Story and stuff, and all these other places where you could just be a kid. Like obviously you had the weird, creepy folks that would try to play until they realize like, yo, kids don't care, man. We're just trying to play games. We're not trying to talk to y'all. But like I think I saw like Max, I think the streaming service that owns like Cartoon Network and stuff, they like shut down
Oh dang.
Cartoon Network's like website, I think, or something like that. They also shut down the archives for MTV. So if you were trying to look at like the news and stuff that happened like a decade or so ago, it's a lot harder to find.
I did not know that.
So, man, like not every kid needs to be on Instagram. Not every kid needs to be on TikTok because it's very much like the Wild West. I want to be a parent someday, hopefully, but man, that's gonna be a nightmare to navigate. I'm not sure. Have you given any thought to that at all?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Well, when you talk about parenting, I mean, I'm not a parent. You know what I mean?
Thank God.
Not yet. I mean, I would love to have kids one day, but it's a good point to talk about parenting because, I mean, if you look at, I'm not trying to get into politics, but a lot of prices have been going up.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And because of that, obviously parents have to work a lot, which is valid. We have to work. And because of that, and parents can't really see their kids as much. Not saying that they're not neglecting them, but they just have to provide for their family, and like what you said, they have to. I feel like parents, in a way, they don't have to resort to the iPad, but I feel like it's just the easy thing. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what they really experience, but when you talk about iPad and social media, I mean, there's so many things out there that are eye-opening, and mind-opening, and it's like, oh, I like this. A lot of colorful things.
Oh yeah.
That can open up your imagination, especially as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, one of the main things that we're going to be talking about. Who likes boba? You like boba?
I love boba. Love boba.
See, even Mexican people like boba, right? Just joking.
I think it's a good. A lot of people will think I'm Mexican. I am not Mexican. My family's from Thailand and Laos. A lot of people still think I look Mexican.
It's the eyebrows.
Probably.
Yeah. Now, what's crazy is two of the guys I used to dance with, and mind you, they're Vietnamese, same parents, and one of them looks Mexican, the other one looks white. I have no idea how that happened. Like, genetics is really weird, or God just has a very specific sense of humor. I have no idea. But the reason we're talking about boba, one, Asian, obviously, but also there was a clip that was going around about a company in Canada, and they're on this show called The Dragon's Den, which is basically a Shark Tank a Shark Tank show, but for Canada. Dragon's Den, I have no idea why. I guess they just like Asian stuff.
Sounds cool though, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but if they're trying to go like specific to like, oh, they're I would think like Lion's Den, because that's a more common phrase, unless Dragon's Den is a common phrase in Canada, which is, in that case, our apologies, I guess.
Yeah.
The reason why we're bringing it up is because there was a company. These two people think they're white.
Yeah, they're like I seen like video. I think um I had an accent.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was
yeah,
like the accent up in
French
French
accent,
because I
which
know
is
like
pretty common in
yeah
Canada. Yeah, I think from Quebec.
yeah
So yeah, super French. And they were talking about they had a boat company called Bobba. We're not advocating going to their page and leaving bad reviews. Wink. So a company talking about how they're you don't realize when you order boba what's really in it, and we're here to make it healthy and try to get to the masses. We could see us selling this company to Pepsi for a bunch of money in a few years. And Shang-Chi, Simu Liu,
yeah. It's Lou.
I'm terrible with Asian names. I'm very Americanized, as clearly you guys can tell. Was literally was given like fair questions. Like everyone that had a problem with it, that arguing bad faith I saw online was like make him out to be like, oh, he's attacking. It's like he's just asking reasonable questions. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, I know there's no branding. Like, do you guys know where it's from? Because I don't see it on there. Like, do you have any Asian people on staff? And all these things, and just giving like genuine questions, like what respect is being paid
Mm.
to this very obviously Asian drink. And also, how do you not know what's in boba? Because there's only like three ingredients. So
All right.
I don't think you asked that, but again, boba is not like a super complex thing to make. I don't know what you think about that, man. It's weird to me.
In terms of the video, like I mean, one of the main things that Simone talked about was like culture appreciation, right?
Yeah, cultural appreciation.
Um, and I mean, in his defense, I can see where he's coming from because I mean, it's his culture, and other people that are not of the culture are trying to change it, even though it is not really. You can't really change boba. You know what I mean? Because boba's
I
already
think it
boba.
was trying to change. I think there's like trying to improve
Yeah.
boba, which
I mean,
why?
it's like how you, it's like you're trying to prove pizza. Like, I mean, it's I don't know. You can really. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the thing is, like, we all know it's Italian, so it's far reaching. Like, it's already an international product. And if you compare
Right.
pizza in America versus pizza in Italy,
Oh yeah.
they're way different. Like, we throw pineapple on pizza. I've
Which is
I
nasty.
had a friend who traveled to Italy a while back who did like a semester abroad. Pineapple on pizza over there is not a thing.
Good.
Like, so much stuff, like the stuff that we do here, like stuffed crust pizza, that's not an Italian
Yeah.
thing. We bastardize the mess out of our pizza, out of our foods in general. Because one, we're just a super obese country,
Mm-hmm.
like, and also even like up to like, oh, does Taco Bell need to apologize? For not crediting Mexican folks, and it's like Taco Bell doesn't pretend that they're giving you a better Mexican product.
Mm.
Like you know what you're getting when you go in there. You go in there to get a bunch of food
Right.
for cheap, and you leave there with diarrhea. That's what Taco Bell is for.
Right. And it's like same thing as like we were talking earlier before, like Chinese American food, like orange chicken, steamed broccoli. Like most of it's not authentic. Authentic. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's,
mean?
it's steamed broccoli.
Yeah.
It's just broccoli that's steamed. It's like what's Asian about that? It's literally just
Right.
like vegetables.
Right.
So, but man, and I think it reminds me. There's another company uh, that tried to do something similar. I think it was in Portland, Oregon.
Mm.
Um, I think it was a white lady that did it too. She called it her thing, her boba thing. Better boba.
That's the name.
Yeah, that's the name.
Better Boba.
Better boba.
What's better about that?
And she got called out for it too. Like she tried to like be like, oh, it's a minority owned business. Like you're a white lady. Like I guess it's what's a female led company.
Mm.
I don't know if white would fall under minority. You have to ask, probably ask another minority on that. Um, So it's really, I think if they were more upfront and honest about the branding, like, hey, this is a Taiwanese product. And let me clarify too, because people are going to say, like, oh, he's Chinese Canadian. How can he have an opinion on this? Boba is to Asian folks what pho, which is a Vietnamese noodle
Mm-hmm.
dish, a very common one, is to Southeast Asian folks. Like, yeah, it's technically a
Yeah.
Vietnamese dish, but it's something that, we grow up on, we still eat constantly,
Right.
you know.
And there's like different styles. Like there's like a Lao style, there's a Thai style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's not like, it's not, so, we're not claiming to make it like, we're not claiming like it originated from us. We're not
Mm-hmm.
claiming that like we made it better. It's just very culturally specific. The way
Right.
like Thai people, we like to add peanuts to our food, but that's just an example. It's like you can add stuff to it while not diminishing where it came from.
Right.
So, but I don't know. Would you try something like this or no?
Well, I think when you talk about that, it's like culture should be shared. I think culture is meant to be shared to everyone. Like, I mean, look at America, for example. It's called a melting pot for a reason. You
Yep.
know what I mean? But I mean, you see, I mean, everywhere is culture in America. And I think it should be embraced. And, if you don't want to embrace different culture, that's fine. That's your opinion, it's your choice. But I think culture is a good thing to be shared and to just to know other people. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, we're all God's children. We're all made in the image of God. And I think even though we're all different, we still should embrace each other. You know what I mean? We still should know who we are, no matter the skin color, no matter where we came from, and no matter how we grew up or what we grew up on. Like, I think culture is meant to be shared.
Oh, definitely. I think there's a way to just to be sure that when you're sharing culture, you're partaking, that you still showing respect. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're God's children, but it's not like we're colorblind. Like, we're
Right.
clearly, Asian American, right? So it's not like God made us in spite of our ethnic
Mm.
makeup. Like, that's a part of us. And obviously, our identity, the main thing is being children of God and whatnot. But Asian American still comes with that for us.
Mm.
So if you're gonna do it, be respectful. Don't go about the way these guys did. It's like, being happy, like, oh, it's not an ethnical product anymore. Or the lady in pink, one of the judges or whatnot.
She was crazy for that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, because I think I read that she got uh, upset because someone tried to do the same thing, but to like an Indian food or Indian
Oh, really?
product. It's like,
Oh, dang.
yo, keep that same like expectation, respect. You know what I mean? Or if you're gonna go bastardize it, just do like Taco Bell and just make it clear, like, yo, this is a terrible product. This is not good for you. Because a lot of the chemicals, a lot of the ingredients
Oh, yeah.
in that so-called boba drink is not good for you. So, with that in mind, that actually also reminds me um, of a place. You'll get kicked out. This I actually have to look this up to verify it. It's in the UK. It's called Pho Restaurant,
That's it. Pho restaurant.
and it's trademark.
Trademark. That's
Yeah,
a pho restaurant.
it's like trademarking hamburger, and they legit. I guess they
Interesting.
felt like they saw what was happening in Canada. It's like, oh, let's get our apology out there before, and people were flaming them. I'm surprised they actually kept their comments on, um, because yeah, they apparently been suing other these mom and pop shops like pho restaurants, and it's two white people. I'm just like, first off, why?
Right.
Like, like I think what was the name of that restaurant that we saw in Atlanta? What's it called? What the fuck?
I remember that.
That was like
I
such a
remember that. What the
that's such
fuck?
a creative name. Or
It is creative, all right.
or some of these low cost Chinese restaurants where they put like number
Right.
one Chinese
Like
restaurant.
a Chinese food.
And if you ever see places like that, those kind of names, like, yo, number one Chinese restaurant, who does that? Or why? And it's like for search engines, for Google. So that way when people search number one Chinese restaurant, that restaurant pops up.
Still good though.
The same reason why they say triple A, right? The name that the people that come pick up your car or something, if you need help, it's because they're in the phone book, A's come first. So that's where triple A came from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it shows up first, so you call them.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's so dumb. But it's like it's genius. So I'm more at this point, like, because it's not the first time the whole boba thing or pho restaurant or the not better boba in Portland or whatever. I'm not even offended so much at the cultural appropriation, more so just the lack of effort. It's like when someone says Asian jokes to me, I'm offended at the lack of effort. When someone's racist to a black person, they give their all. But when they're racist against Asian people, it's like the bare minimum racism. And mind you, I would prefer folks not be racist. But like when a new Asian joke I heard, I guess someone's trying to start this stereotype or something. It was like on Chat GPT. It's like all Asian people eat ice cream with chopsticks. And I was like, you know what, Chat GPT? I appreciate you trying
ChatGPT said that.
to modernize your racism against Asian people. I had no idea what they had to search to get that, but I appreciate that. I mean, not that we need to keep harping on it, but I mean, how do you feel about just these weird, like non-Asian folks? Just because I know you mentioned like culture is meant to be shared.
Yeah.
But I mean, is this something you've seen a lot? Because I know that in your field, you're in sports medicine, right? Is this something you see at all, or is this something that's not really like this kind of not really gotten over to your area of expertise quite yet?
I would say it's not gone to my area yet.
Thank God.
And I mean, in terms of like, in terms of this topic, when we talk about culture appreciation, I mean, I guess for me, I don't really see it as much. Maybe because I just don't really pay attention.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, I'm not saying I don't care, but it's like I just don't pay attention at all.
Yeah, it's just not on your radar.
Right.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean by like when going back to like a different race, like white people trying to make a Vietnamese for a restaurant.
And not again, this is not saying we
Right.
love white folks.
Yes.
We're not saying that white people can't do it.
I love
Just
everyone.
if you're making a culturally specific dish, be respectful.
Right.
Pay respect, give respect, and you'll get respect.
Right.
But sorry, keep
Going on, yeah, no, it's good. I like that you said that. Like when you pay respect, and going back to like, if you're gonna do that, at least like give effort.
Yeah.
Show that not only that you care, but it's like this is the real thing. It may not be the closest to what I can get it, but it's the closest that I can get it. And if it's like closely authentic, that's great. You know what I mean? Because who's gonna know pho better, Vietnamese people or white people? Vietnamese people, right? You know what I mean? Same thing as like, who's gonna know pizza better? Like real pizza. Italians.
Domino's. Yep.
Shout out Domino's. Not sponsored, by the way.
But yeah, please sponsor us because I miss y'all's pizza. But no, it's like just going back to the beginning, just our Christian faith. You can go to a mega church and go that stereotypical prosperity pastor. Give more money and you'll be blessed, and you got plant that seed, that investments, and you'll be bountiful and all these things. And it's like you're better off going to like a home church or your local church, just something small that's very theologically sound, community minded. Because it may not have all the glitz and glamour and lights and everything, but it's authentic and it's real.
Yeah.
And just like the food more often than not, when you go to where it originated from, that does it respectfully, it usually more often than not tastes better.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just don't
You got terrible
have
taste.
standards or just don't know
Right.
any better.
Right.
But more often than not, just go to the originators if you can. I get it's not always practical. Sometimes all you got in your hometown is a Panda Express, and still gonna say show them love because it's Asian owned. So we're always gonna be pro Jesus, pro Asian, pro love, and pro respect if you're
Yes.
pro love. But gonna wrap things up a little bit, just talking about love and whatnot. What do you want folks to walk away from this podcast? Now, since this is gonna be the first episode and whatnot.
Well, this first episode, and it's definitely, I think definitely, as we keep doing this, it will definitely grow. It will for sure grow. I think for me, the number one message that I want to give everybody out there is, well, Jesus. That's what I truly believe in. And I hope that, the more we talk about Jesus and our faith, that I hope that somebody can experience that true love, that real love, because I truly believe that real love comes from Jesus. And not only that, I think one thing that I want also everybody else to get out of this podcast is just, how they see everyone around, like their neighbor, your friend, your family, or even a stranger. I think today's world, we're so quick to judge. You know what I mean? And we talk about culture. I think we're quick to judge people, saying that, oh, I have this, like I'm way better than that person. I don't need that. Like why would I need to get that from that person? Like that person has nothing. Or I think we're very quick to judge in today's world, and I think instead of judging, there should be more appreciation in culture, appreciation in who people are, even if it's your enemy. The Bible talks about love your enemies, love your neighbor as yourself. So I want everyone watching this podcast and future episodes to understand that, no, we're human, we're not perfect, but at the same time that we should all still, be appreciated, feel loved. So
that's good. That's good. If there was a Mr. America, that would be a great speech. I love that. I love that. No, I hope that people, when they heard us talking about the whole Boba thing, I hope people don't take away that we're judging them, because we're not. We at least we want to try. We will assume that they had good intentions, though. The whole, we saw this trend, and we want to sell as a Pepsi. It makes me a little skeptical, but we just want to just show our backgrounds, share stories, because we have stories for days, personal stories between us two, my brother in the background with some of the people that will come through, hopefully. But we just want to just show a different side, especially when they see you and realize that I'm not sure what ocean, right? They see me and then they realize, like, this is not our normal expectations of what Asian people look like, how they are, religious background, all these things. So the goal of this podcast, and just kind of the mission, I guess, is just sharing all that, adding commentary to culture from a place of love, sharing our faves, and just making sure that everyone that comes across us, whether you subscribe, follow, like, whatever platform you're watching this on, whatever name we end up going with for this podcast.
Tell me your name.
Yeah, we got an idea, but still got to get settled on it. Whatever place you're watching this from, that you feel blessed, or at least educated and informed. So that way, when you see a random Asian person out that maybe is unfamiliar or whatnot, that you can feel like, oh yeah, one of us. Welcome here, not just foreigner or stereotype or whatnot. That you can sit with us, feel at home,
Mm-hmm.
and feel like there's a place for you with
For
us.
sure.
So, my name is Chris. I
My
have
name's
no
Allan.
idea. Allan, right? Allan, Chris, or whatever names. We should probably figure out if we're gonna go by nicknames or whatnot.
Oh, I mean, I never had a nickname. I don't really have nicknames like that.
Okay.
Unless the people watching, like,
What's your Xbox name? Gamer
my
tag.
Xbox 360. Okay, all right, we can go there. Okay. I remember this. This is because the Xbox was my first, well, not my first, one of my first gaming consoles. My, so you know how Xbox, like, it gives you like a default name,
Oh
like a
gosh, yeah.
default, like, and I think you have like two free like two kind of free things to like change your name until you have to pay for it. And I had my default name.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of rock with it. And the default name was Square Aphid 95. I kid you not. I just kept it like I thought it sounded cool. So
Yeah,
imagine playing Call of Duty. You see Square Aphid 95.
there's such like a generic chat GPT name.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
Oh man.
that's funny. Cause my name it's just Crispy aka Khan, like her in the intro. But it's so funny hearing people like trying to not trying to pronounce it. Crispy Yakaka.
People say that for real.
Yeah, cause like no, cause the way I'd spell it, cause now you can find me online, but it's Crispy. Then there would be all caps, aka lowercase Khan, be all caps. So now it's obvious. But the way I would do it, I just capitalized AKA and the K and the C.
Right.
That's it. The rest were lowercase. So I can understand why it'd be a nightmare to try to read.
It's like saying my last name.
Oh
I gotta.
gosh.
My last name is crazy.
I can't even pronounce his last name. I've known you since you were a kid. So but whatever names we go by, whatever names we use or we come up with for the name of this podcast, we hope you guys will stick with us as we obviously work out the kinks. And if you notice in the background, it's not supposed to be pitch black. It's not like the walls are black.
Yes.
It's actually gorgeous trees
Very gorgeous.
in our studio right here that we could not, we can't see because we forgot, or I forgot, that it gets darker much quicker this time
Daylight
of the
savings is
day.
upon us.
So next episode, hopefully, we'll do better and you'll have pretty nature to look at. But I'm Chris. This
I'm
is
Allan.
Allan and my brother in the back, and we will see you on the next episode.
Peace, y'all.